Hello all, welcome back to Editorial Analysis and Answer Writing Practice at 9 pm. Friends, if you are watching this initiative for the first time, then please watch my intro video on this initiative to know how to participate in this answer writing program. The initiative is open to all. Recently, UN came with a report in which UN stated that the world is far behind in achieving the Sustainable Development Goal targets by 2030. So on this backdrop, many newspapers carried editorial analysis. So we will also discuss about this topic from our UPSC exam point of view. So what is Sustainable Development Goals? So in 2015, United Nations, they came with a set of 17 interconnected objectives. 17 interconnected objectives. The 17 objectives focusing on poverty, hunger, education, gender equality, health, climate action, clean water, sanitation. It goes on. Okay, 17 goals in total. So the idea is these 17 goals, and each goal will have separate targets. So totally there are 169 targets. So UN in 2015, they came with the 17 goals, and each goals will have sub target, totally 169 targets. And UN asked the member countries to achieve these goals, achieve these objectives in 15 years. That is by 2030, it asked the member countries to achieve these objectives to ensure sustainable development. We have to achieve this by 2030, right? But the recent UN report says that 100% we will not be in a position to achieve these goals by 2030. Not even single goal, all 17 goals we will be failing to achieve by 2030. That is what the UN report says. Remember, these goals are not binding on the countries. It is not legally binding. But however, it is a moral obligation. All the countries should strive hard to achieve these goals. Now the question comes, why we are not able to achieve any progress in reaching the Sustainable Development Goals? See, initially when 2015, when Sustainable Development Goals were introduced, from 2015 till 2019, yes, there was some amount of progress. But the progress was getting reversed because of various reasons. One by one we will see. The first reason we can take COVID. So COVID was followed by lockdown, and the lockdown that resulted in loss of various economic activities. So many people lost their jobs, so many people lost their life, wealth. So all this was pushing a lot of people into poverty once again, right? To tackle this COVID, governments across the world, right, not just India, America, UK, European countries, every country, they injected huge money supply into economy, right? People, they lost their opportunities. So to bring the opportunities back, we need more production. For more production, we need more demand. For more demand, we need more consumption. For more consumption, we need money. So government was taking conscious efforts to increase the money supply in the economy. For example, Government of India also came with Atmanirbhar package where 20 plus lakh crores worth of money was injected to improve the money supply. But what is the consequence? COVID itself is creating a lot of consequence. Now this injected money supply that resulted in increase in inflation, not just in India, even in America, in UK. America and UK was witnessing 30-year high inflation. Right? So India was also witnessing double-digit inflation. This inflation was affecting the poor the most. So following this COVID, we had Russia-Ukraine war, 2022 February, Russia-Ukraine war started, and the Russia-Ukraine war that was affecting the supply chain. The entire geopolitics was getting polarized, right? So some were supporting Russia, some were supporting the West, which was supporting the Ukraine. So the world order was getting affected. There was supply chain disruption. The oil supplies were cut. So that was also adding more inflation because a lot of products were not available. Oil prices were becoming more costlier. So all this was causing again inflation that was affecting the poor the most. So COVID was affecting, Russia-Ukraine war was affecting, right? Climate change, right? So that is a serious problem. The climate change is affecting the opportunities, livelihood of so many people. The rich people, they are able to escape because of the impact of climate change. But the poor, one day rich will also get affected. But the poor, they are also getting further affected because of this climate change. Right. Apart from that, there is instability in many regions. You take African Sahel regions. We see a lot of political instability. You take the Middle East, political instability. You take South Asia, many political instability. In such situation, how their national governments will prioritize these targets? So because of these global political instabilities, we are not able to achieve much progress. Apart from that, if you take developing economies, right, developing economies, inherently they are having a lot of revenue deficit. See, if you take India, India being the fifth largest economy in the world, but still we have a revenue deficit of close to 8 plus lakh crores. Our fiscal deficit is 17 lakh crores. Our revenue deficit is 8 plus lakh crores. With huge deficit, when there is huge revenue shortage, then how government can come up with transfer payments, how government can come up with subsidies, how government can improve the social infrastructure. Right, so if you have to focus on education, if you want to reduce poverty, if you want to improve the food security, if you want to, then on all these targets, you have to allocate money, resources. But the emerging economies, developing economies has a lot of revenue shortage. Right, so these reasons, all these reasons are actually not helping us, or all these reasons are actually not paving way for achieving these sustainable development goals. Now, how to improve the progress? One by one we will try to understand. See, how to improve the progress? We need to have a global coordinated effort. Just one country cannot, just India alone performing in SDG alone will not be sufficient. We need a global coordinated effort. We need to have a separate global finance. Okay, see, just improving the physical infrastructure alone is not sufficient. We have to improve the social infrastructure. Without improving social infrastructure, how can you reap the benefits of physical infrastructure? The developed West, they came with PGII. We discussed about this in the IMEC topic. Right, Partnership for Global Infrastructure Investment. That partnership is trying to improve the physical infrastructure. Like that, we should have partnership for improving social infrastructure. We need a global coordinated effort for mitigating the climate change. We need to have climate finance. We already have, but it is not actually getting it is not solving its real purpose. Not every developed country is participating actively in this global climate finance. So climate finance has to be improved. Developed countries, they have to come forward to improve the social infrastructure, not just physical, social infrastructure in the developing countries. The Sustainable Development Goals should be made as national priorities. SDG, though it is not legally binding, there is moral obligation. The countries should make it as national priority. There should be a national policy at every country to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And remember, one size fit for all approach is not correct. So let Sustainable Development Goal be a broader framework. Let every country come up with their own modified targets. Let India have a modified target, not just at national level, at state level, at district level, we should have some modified targets. Right? So wherever the states are weak, wherever the districts are weak, that has to be addressed. So we should have a different national level targets, but let SDG be a broader framework. Right? So more importance should be given for achieving these targets. So we need a global coordinated effort to mobilize resources to improve social infrastructure. We need a global effort to mitigate the impacts of climate change. We need to make SDG as national priorities. We need to come up with a differential strategy plans for achieving these targets. Right? And also these 17 goals are interconnected goals. Okay, so when we come up with some policy strategy to achieve the goals, all these 17 goals should not be seen in silos. Focusing only on education, focusing only on hunger. No, everything is interconnected. So we need a holistic approach to achieve these objectives. And also we need to spend some resources for data collection. What is the progress achieved? Now let's take India. What is the progress India achieved through Sustainable Development Goals? That has to be properly measured. We need to allocate resource for that. We have to collect the data. Only when we measure the progress, we can improve on that. Right? So all this we have to do. And also we need private participation. We cannot ask everything, government should take care, government should do it. We should bring in private participation also. See, we have in India, we have this corporate social responsibility. Why don't government channelize this corporate social responsibility to use that resources to improve the sustainable development goal objectives? So we need private participation, civil society participation. And we individuals should also become more conscious and help the government in achieving these goals. Right? Friends, the global economy has achieved $100 trillion. But do you know what? Even today, more than 70 crore people are suffering from extreme poverty. They are not able to earn even $1.9 per day. 70 crore people, they are suffering from extreme poverty. So one side, the entire world is becoming richer. Another side, the poor is becoming even more poorer. Rich is becoming richer, poor is becoming poorer. Forget about sustainable development. If you want development, then the growth which we achieve should be inclusive in nature. To have the inclusive growth, we need to improve the social infrastructure. The 17 goals are interconnected. All these 17 goals are fixed in such a manner that achieving progress in 17 goals will help in improving the social infrastructure, which will help in improving the inclusiveness in the development process. Right? So if we are looking for inclusive growth, then we have to make sustainable development goals as a national priority and we have to work towards it. Right? I hope you got clarity on this sustainable development goals topic. Now, based on this topic, based on this discussion, I'll give you a question. Despite global efforts and commitments, progress towards achieving sustainable development goals has been slow. Analyze the key challenges hindering sustainable development goal progress, particularly in developing countries like India. So I have pinned the content, the study material in the comment section. You can download that. Please, when you write answers, please don't dump everything I'm giving in the study material. Based on the demand of the question, you please summarize your answer. Right? So I hope this initiative is adding value to your preparation. Tomorrow, I will see you with another interesting editorial analysis. Till then, bye. Take care.